Hey guys, welcome back to the Interceptor. We're here with another Alliance War video. This is going to be Alliance War Season 62, War number 7, and AOH has matched up against Old Driver, and I'm actually clearing very, very late, but it is a very tight war. The score is 13 to 11, and we still have 13 fights left. If we solo all of them, we win. We can also die either once or twice, but obviously we would rather just solo every remaining fight. We started this war off pretty rough, but the back half of our war was actually really good. I think we only had like 2 deaths in our last 60 fights or something like that, so that's comparatively good. We're starting out here on path 3, section 1. I don't know why I wasn't heavy countering her special 2 in this fight. I definitely should have been, but I wasn't. And Zola's going to be pretty good for this Viv here, because this is basically just easier Red Skull. I don't remember what node Red Skull was on, but it wasn't anything important. We're going to try to get her in the corner, and I think there we are able to do a bunch of heavying, so I slowed down the clip because I'm pretty sure this is just going to end the fight here. Heavy into the special 1. We do get the burst damage, and it leaves her at 1%, so I'm like, okay, I'm just going to strike her. And even though the hits glance, she does go down. So a lot faster than Red Skull takes there, so I was definitely relieved to see that I only had to do that much matchup this war. Okay, Enchantress with Arnim Zola on 12, a fight I've done many times, and this is actually the second best it's ever gone, because I think I've taken this fight 5 times now in 7 wars, maybe even 6 times, but all times but 1 so far, I've had to eat a special 3. Because I wasn't able to push her into her corner fast enough. But this one's going to go well. So we're going to bait out the heavy. We're going to remove all the spells except the intercept. We are going to get our first intercept. She's going to auto block it. Get our second intercept. There we do get it, which is great. So we're going to go for a couple heavies here. And then special 1 to power lock, or to special lock rather. And now we just need to try to get her in her corner as soon as we can. I know when I parry here, I'm going to go unblockable, so that's going to allow me to hit a nice stand-up intercept here. And then now we can go into our heavies and just watch her health get deleted. I started this heavy spam at 80%, so just watch her health get absolutely removed. Go for the SP2, boom. We don't even need the burst at the end from our SIG ability. She is just absolutely destroyed. So that was pretty nice. Okay, next up here, we are fighting path 3 once again. We are taking Okoye on this node. This is a fight I've done many times with Hood. Very safe. One of the top options. Obviously, someone like Ronin just completely cheeses the fight. And there's other options as well, but I prefer Hood. I think he's a very good counter here. And you're going to see how that goes. This one doesn't go as smooth as all the other times I've taken it. We throw on a power start 1, but that power start 1's actually gonna last us 3 fights, so that's pretty good. Start out with a 5-hit combo here, and then we're gonna go for our parry heavy, and then we can dash back and go invisible, and now we remove all the buffs for good, so now if I get hit, I won't just die instantly. There's no extra attack rating on the defender, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, that gets 0 power steals, that L2. So at this point, I'm like, okay, well, the SP2 cycle doesn't work anymore, so that's not great. But we're going to get back to L2, probably like 5-hit combo striker heavy here to push to L2. Yeah, nice. That was a good call. So now we're going to go invisible again. Throw one more L2, and then Okoye is going to die here as soon as I parry this medium dash. And because she's not thrown a special 1, she does not have her endurance, which means we can always parry her. Medusa on this node, pretty straightforward fight. It's a rank 3 Medusa, and we are actually going to have a little bit of trouble in this one cycling our L2s properly. So here we started with the parry heavy. We're going to go light medium, but we get really bad crit RNG, and that was the biggest thing there. Is I thought I was out of special 2, and we ended up throwing a special 1, and while it is some nice shock damage to help with safeguard, it doesn't really help me very much. So here I'm trying to intentionally trigger the auto block, but I hit into her 3 times and she doesn't auto block me. So this must be a pretty low sig Medusa, And unfortunately, I'm like, okay, fine, she's not going to auto-block me. Let me just throw my special too. And then that's the hit she auto-blocks. So that was just wonderful. But as long as we keep a stagger on, we don't have to worry about her auto-block. Here we're going to go for our invisibility. And there she does not auto-block the second hit, so she just dies. But yeah, despite that little bit of a delay, it was still a nice, fast, and easy fight. It was only a rank 3 Medusa, but because it was safeguard, the rank doesn't matter. Like a rank 1 Medusa would have gone down the exact same time. So, yeah. Nova here. I mean, technically it would have been faster because we're dealing with DOT, but not much of a difference. Nova on 39. What they did this war is they actually placed 3 defenders on this boss island that I could easily use Hood for. They had 37 Sentinel, they had 38 Shocker, and 39 Nova. So literally all fights I've done before, and this is the one that it made most sense in the plan for me to take. I was not planning the war. I literally just told the officer that was planning, just send me to whatever one makes sense for the plan, like whatever is hardest for you to plan for, send me to that. And that's what happened. We have 2 more minis here before we get to our boss, but we are going to be taking Node 43 Maestro, and it has been a long time since I've done this one. So long, in fact, that I didn't really remember how it went the previous time, but we're going to go straight in here because we have an invuln boost on. So obviously the power start 1 here doesn't work. But because Maestro dashes back at the beginning, we did not get our pause in right away, so he did build a couple extra charges. So here we're just going to go for some medium combos to gain as much power as we can. But here, you'll notice that he is going to get to 10 right before we're able to pause his charges again. However, because we staggered it, we're still able to power steal on our mediums. And unfortunately, we do get a special one into the block there. That is not the only time that is going to happen. This Maestro likes dropping specials into my block, like right there. For the second time, he just drops it into my hard block. So thank you for that, Maestro. And because he did that, he got tons of charges. He would be absolutely nowhere near his radiation right now if it were not for that, for him dropping specials into my block. But that's okay. Why is it okay? Because we have the Fate Seal on, and the heavy attack resets the Fate Seal on the final hit. So, if it doesn't glance, that is, but Fate Seal has a chance to make the glance fail, so you would still get the reset on the Fate Seal. And what that allowed me to do is get a bunch of heavies off, not for the purpose of getting bullets back, but for the purpose of getting knockdowns to remove his charges. So here I know I just need to throw an L2, and then as soon as he gets out of it, we can strike her and he will go down. So 70% health finish for a mini boss on hazard shift that I can't even power start 1 for. I'd say that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how that went, and had Maestro not thrown those 2 special ones into my block, then he would have been down faster and I would have ended healthier. Okay, Node 47 Thanos. This is going to be my final mini-boss before the final boss. And this is a pretty straightforward one. It's my last Hood fight, obviously, because Arnim Zola's on the team, so he's going to be the one taking the boss. But pretty straightforward fight. I've done it many times. I think I actually did it either last war or the war before. And this one's not going to go 100% perfect. I am going to get clipped once, however, I had an invuln, so it's not going to do any damage to me. We're just going to keep baiting this L1, keep going for our medium combos, and just keep throwing L2. We just have to watch out for the protection, but here we enter a new phase, so I'm going to go for a heavy here, just to be a little bit faster. There we couldn't medium, because I didn't want to make him unstoppable. There I was scared the unstoppable was going to go on him, but it actually ended on me, so that's pretty nice. And when you're using Hood on this node, there's no buffs to expire. Like, there are no buffs, period. So you can just freely... you can just not worry about the falter, because it will essentially never trigger, because he would have to get a buff on him, and as long as you keep the Fate Seal up, it just can't happen. So yeah, that's pretty nice. I think here we're going to heavy. No? Okay, here we are waiting for my invisibility and for the unstoppable to trigger, but unfortunately I do get caught in a dash back there, and while the invuln does tank the damage, we do lose 3% of our health. But now we're ready to heavy. I thought that would kill, leaves him at 3%, but now I think I'm just going to medium and then heavy. Yeah. So, a little bit slower. Not the fastest that fight has ever gone, but definitely not bad. Now we're on to the final boss with Arnim Zola. I have a Wags here, and I also have a Maker. I am going to mess up in this fight, and I'm going to lose my Maker pre-fights because I wasn't able to get a knockdown. But you'll see what happens there. Jean Grey boss, I've done it 5 times. This is my 5th, I think. I don't know. Yeah, I did it the first 4 wars, and then War 5 was a Dust boss. War 6, we sent Sinister to the boss. So yeah, this would be my 5th time. I know the heavy counter heavy spacing very well. 2 dashbacks, light whiff into a heavy. So now we have the tactic up. We're going to throw our special 1 to get the special lock on, and then we're going to get as many heavies as we can here. We land another nice stand-up intercept, and now we can go for some heavy spams. Fortunately, I'm only able to go for 2 heavies before we have to do that, but because we just removed the shield, we are reverse controls, so it's kind of nice that I know I'm reverse controls at least. And here we're going to actually get some pretty nice damage off. Going to spam some heavies. Makers are helping a lot here. And then here, I think I would have been fine. I don't think that would have pushed to special 2, but I was being extra safe. There we land a nice light intercept. Here we have to bait the special 2. We do that well. And then here she doesn't hit me. Okay, so that was annoying right there. What happened is I was trying to get my heavy off. And because she dashed back, I was not able to get it in time. And then I ended up eating an SP2 right after. And then here, I thought I was reverse controlled. I was not reverse controlled. But in my brain, I was reverse controlled, so I went for the dash, as in I was dashing in, like I was swiping towards Jean, which I expected to make me dash back, because I just assumed I had a reverse controls on me and I didn't. So that was not a good moment. Lost like 70% of my health for that one mistake, but it's okay, because Fridge can't die. So we are going to throw our special 3 right here, reapply the special lock to Jean. And then here I just want to bait her special 2, so I'm going to actually land a nice intercept. I don't even remember doing that. I thought I just blocked it, but here we do get reverse controlled on the second hit, which is good that I was paying attention to that at least. But yeah, we did lose our makers, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it's fine. Another nice stand-up intercept there into the special 1. Now we can start spamming some heavies. We're not going to get the best damage cycle off right here, but now we're going to bait the L2, we get reverse controlled, so we're going to do 1 hit, leave myself open, land the parry, and now Jean's dead. So we're going to get a bunch of heavies off, and then one thing that's actually pretty cool that you don't see very often is my SIG ability is actually going to end the fight, because that special 2 would not have killed without the burst from my SIG ability at the very end there, so that's pretty nice. That saved us another 10 seconds on the fight. Dark Phoenix on node 9. So this is my alt account now. And the fight that the title's about is going to be on this account, unfortunately. But we're going to start out with a couple nice fights. We have Dark Phoenix on node 9, a fight I've taken many times. This one, if I recall correctly, I'm pretty sure she's going to throw special 1 into my block once. We'll wait to see. We get pretty bad RNG at the start of the fight. We get 2 hazard shifts on our first heavy, and then on our second heavy here we get another one. So ideally, right after your second heavy, you start throwing your medium attacks. However, you can't do that if you already have a DOT on you, or you'll lose a lot of health. So here we can start going for our mediums. Got a nice power steal in the first one, which means we didn't have to do many hits. Special 1 into my hard block. I had been holding block for like seconds, and she still just threw it right into me. So that was a little bit annoying. Here we have got hazard shift on us. We land another nice parry right there, and then we were able to go back into our special 2s. So it was nice that Dark Phoenix did let me get back into my cycle after that special she threw into my hard block. But now we are ready to end the fight, so I'm pretty sure, yeah, another special 1 into me, wonderful. And there, the fight does go down, because we just barely had a little bit of duration on our Fate Seal left, but I was so healthy. Excuse me. I gotta drink something. My throat's a little dry. Okay, but I was so healthy that even if Immortality had triggered there, it wouldn't have mattered. Okay, leader on this node is actually a pretty tricky placement, given that it's a tactic fight and that it's a leader, because I can't hit him with any light attacks this war, because when Bastion is poisoned or bled, or also, what's that apocalypse thing? Crushed? I think that's what it's called. When Bastion has any of those on himself, including from Hazard Shift, he regens, and if you throw your light attacks, you're obviously going to get the Spectres on yourself, so it's going to reverse the regen. So the strat here is, obviously I'm going to shut down the Hazard Shift. However, the way I want to play this fight is that I only want to throw medium attacks, bait special 1s. And medium attacks and heavies is the only attacks I can throw. First SP1 gets low that I know that for sure my second SP2 is going to kill. And here we're just going to heavy into the special 1. And I know the first 2 hits are going to get eaten up by the Indestructible, but the last hit killed. So we're all good there. And that fight went pretty well. I mean, it was only a rank 3 leader, but had it been a rank 4, I just would have waited out the Indestructible before going for that heavy, and then it probably would have killed. Or it would have been close, and then we could have ended it with 1 special 1. Now we're going into our section 2, and unfortunately this is going to be where my death is this war. It's not in this fight. I'm going to die to Onslaught. But let's get Attuma over first, because I'm also going to get hit in this fight, and it's really not pretty. The way it happens is not good. We're not using Hood here, don't worry. I took this fight once with Hood, survived at 20% without eating a single hit, just from the Thorns damage, so I learned my lesson. We're not using Hood here. In fact, I guess Mojo would technically be the best option for this fight and just go for special 3s. But my Mojo's rank 1, so that's not happening. Okay, Attuma. Also, I don't run Mystic Dispersion on attack. I have it unlocked, but I don't run it because my main Mystic is Hood, and I would argue it hurts you more than it helps you with Hood, but some Hood players like Mystic Dispersion. I'm not one of them. Okay, so Attuma, we're going to push to special 2. The nice thing is that when we have the tactic, we can ignore his personal unstoppable. So here we are able to get our heavy off, which is nice. Gonna eat a little bit of block damage, gonna eat a little bit of Thorns damage, but it's not really the biggest deal. One thing, the hits on my specials are energy, which means that I am going to give him the charges, and he is going to go unblockable in this fight, which is unfortunate. Like right here, I throw the SB1. The disintegration damage from my special 1 is not energy. However, we get him perfectly enough charges to go unblockable. I eat the SP2, and it full crits. And I'm like, bro, you gotta be pranking me right now. That's actually insane. But yeah, we got full crit, and because he was unblockable, we couldn't get back to our special 2 our second special 1 in time to use the Furies. So we lost the Furies, and this special 1 isn't even gonna kill. And I was like, man, this is annoying. So we're gonna lose a lot of health here, but we are gonna come out with the solo. Okay, let's talk about this next fight here. This is gonna be Onslaught on Buffet. I've taken this fight a couple times before, actually, but one of those times I took it with Hood, and it went really well because I failed Buffet with my Fate Seal almost every time. It was like all times but one, and I killed in about 80 seconds. So having done this fight before, I was very confident. However, I should not have been, because I'm going to play this like garbage. I'm going to eat like 2 special ones. Here we're going to get some pretty bad RNG, and oh no, not this one. I think it's the next special one. And we are going to have our have Fate Seal not fail buffet right here. I believe it is. Yep, right there. Doesn't fail it, so that's wonderful. But at this point, the fight's on track. I'm very healthy. He's taking damage. I'm getting my hexes up. But what am I going to do? I'm going to detonate. Why are you detonating? That's actually so stupid. Like, that, I can't believe I did this. Looking back at the fight, I can't believe I detonated there. Because had I not detonated in that specific scenario, I would have won. I would have soloed the fight. Because if you can see, he regened back to full health. And then once again there, for the second time in a row, we did not fail buffet. So he's healing like crazy. I'm not getting my L2 cycle because my buffs keep getting stolen from buffet. And we're just really not having a good time right now. So here I'm trying to trigger buffet. He goes unblockable. We're going to throw the SP2. And at this point, I have it in my mind the way I can save this fight. The way I can save this fight is I'm going to just build hexes, completely ignore the node, and then we're going to be okay. And then there we are good. We saw the crush. Going to go for my SP2. That was a huge mistake. I definitely should not have thrown that special 2. And there we somehow don't dex out of that special 1. And then there I also didn't dex out of it. I'm so confident at his special 1 that when I do miss it in a war like this, I just assume I had input issues. I don't remember at the time if I did. Also there I thought buffet was on cooldown. It was not. So we are struggling at this point. We are struggling. We are not dealing damage. All because I just never really found a single time in this fight where I was into a comfortable cycle with it. So here we're going to get to our L2. What do we get? Neuroshock on the first hit, so we can't cycle L2s. Like, and then there, how do you block that? I insta-threw it off the combo, and he just somehow blocked it. And the thing is, had he not blocked that L2, he was dead from that heavy. Because the extra hexes that I got from the special 2 would have been enough to deal that extra 5%. We got him down to 5%, and the difference was him magically blocking my special 2 even though it was straight out of a combo. So we somehow dropped 1 to Onslaught. I am genuinely floored at that death. I can't remember the last time I died to Onslaught. It has to have been 2 years, a year and a half. Like, I don't think I've died to Onslaught, if I ever have even, since he like first came out. But I don't think I have died. I think that's the first time I've ever died to Onslaught. Now, okay, I'm sure a lot of people will be saying in the comments, why didn't you go with Bastion? The truth is, I've never taken buffet with Bastion before. And while I'm sure you would be able to outdamage it, also there we get 5 neuros in a row. Like, I hit 5 times, I got 5 neuros. Wonderful game. RNG, definitely in my favor here. So yeah, I'd never taken this node with Bastion, and I wasn't 100% sure how much I would struggle with keeping up with the regeneration. Now, one of the guys in my alliance who I am pretty good friends with, Anthem, he did tell me that he's taken that fight before, and buffet like barely does anything, and the fight's over in SP2, SP1, SP1. But the way I was looking at it is I did this fight, and I did it so well previously with Hood that I genuinely thought there was 0 chance I was dying to that fight. If I could pick the 5 fights in the war combined between my 2 accounts that I was most likely to die to, that would not have been in the top 5. The fact that I died to that fight is so unbelievably shocking to me that it makes me like question if I'm even playing well. It's that bad of a death. Like, it's such a good matchup that I know so well that messing it up is that big of a deal to me. I feel like I feel so terrible about that death. And ultimately, it's not going to matter. It's not going to affect anything this season. We are going to absolutely destroy NY. The war's not going to be close at all. But it did take away the donut from my BG, so I do apologize to everyone in BG1, and maybe I'm being a little bit too hard on myself, but I know how good Hood is. I know how comfortable I am against Onslaught, so those two things coming together, to me dying to him on a path fight just kind of makes me angry. So if I could go back, would I use Bastion? I mean, yeah, but but it was my fault. Like, I messed up a good matchup. It was not the matchup's fault. It was me. So here I went a little bit overboard on the bullets, but I'm pretty sure this is my last Hood fight. So no worries there. Didn't even feel the need to talk about that one, honestly. 37 Sentinel, I've taken it so many times. I took it last war. I've definitely taken it already this season, other than that. But here we actually have a pretty cool fight, because this is not an easy fight. It's a little bit tricky. Like, it's not a super complicated. Or, sorry, a super simple fight, like a Node 43 or a Node 45 would be, where on Node 43 you shut off the shock and the incinerate, and on Node 45 you don't take bleed damage and you shut off the cold snap. This one actually has a hazard shift you can't deal with, which is the rupture. So this is poison, rupture, bullseye, very common placement, and Bastion's a very good counter to it. We do get a bit of bad AI at the beginning of the fight, and we do lose out on almost half of the poison phase. And what you want to do in this fight is you want to just bait special ones. Here, I don't know how this happened. I wasn't blocking apparently, so there's 20% of my health. I am trying to go for reparries, as you'll see right here. We do land a nice couple reparries here. I'm trying to get to 30 infection before I throw my L2, but here I know that if I block again, I'm not going to be able to throw a special 2. I'll get pushed to special 3. So we do have to unfortunately settle for only one Fury. We're not going to throw our special 1 here. What we're going to do is we're just going to dash back. We're going to wait out till poison phase comes. Going to go for, looks like a striker into the heavy. Nice, so I can keep up my pursuit. And the special 1's going to do some okay damage, but I think you can tell him at this point in the fight there's no way I'm dying. I'm winning the health race by so much. Even when we do get a couple ruptures on us right here, we are healing from the poisons. Here we do manage to block and dex out of the last 2 hits, which is the way I do prefer to deal with Bullseye's special 1. But at this point, I know I just need to get back to one more special 1, and the disintegration is actually going to help us do that because we're stealing some of his combat power rate. And I thought that was going to kill, but I guess we're going to bait out one more special 1. Dex out of the last 2 hits, and then here, oh, we're waiting out rupture. That's smart. Yeah, that's good. And then this heavy kills. So, you know, not a perfect fight. Eating the special 1 at the beginning cost us 20% of our health, but without that, we would have walked out of that fight with over 90. So, I'm happy with that. Last fight of the war here is going to be JJ on node 47. Pretty straightforward fight. I've taken this node a bunch of times with Bastion already this season. I've taken... who have I taken here? I've taken North Star. I've taken Gentle with Bastion. So I figured JJ wouldn't be too difficult. Obviously, you're going to get the weaknesses on you when you're throwing your special attack. However, you will be able to ignore her unstoppable the whole fight with tactics, so that's pretty cool. JJ is actually not a tactic defender, but the unstoppable I'm talking about is the one that comes from her base kit. Not even the node one too, I guess. But yeah, just keep up tactic here. There, as I said, keep up tactic. I heavy into her when I have no tactic on me. But yeah, this one, not going to be too complicated. As you can see, we crit for 50k, 30k on that special 2. And then we go for our special 1 here. And unfortunately, because of the weaknesses and inequity, we were only doing 25k burst on our special 1. But that's going to be more than enough for me to take this down in not too long. So we're going to go for another special 1 here. In hindsight, I could have just gone medium into a special 1 there, but I wasn't ready. So that is going to almost end the fight. I think I'm going to bait out a special 1 here so that my falter expires at the same time. So that's pretty nice. Go for another heavy. And now I know as soon as I get to the special 1, the fight's going to be over. And then here we are going to let ourselves get faltered. We're going to wait it out. And then she is going to drop. So that's nice. Heavy into the special 1. Fight goes down. Pretty safe. I think that's actually a pretty intelligent placement, to be fair. There's not many defenders you can place on that node that are going to be even somewhat tricky, and I think JJ is actually a decent placement there. So nice. AOH did win our war against Old Driver 11-13, and I'll talk a bit about that score in a minute. New Nation did win 3-18. We absolutely destroyed NY, but GG's to them. And then also, what I wanted to show you is that NewN is now into the podium position. So we have been rising the whole season after we lost, I think it was War 3 against Salty. We've just been going up and up every season with every win. And we were in 4th after last war, and now we're into 3rd. So if we win, I don't know if we have to win both of our final wars. No, yeah, we have to win both of our final wars to stay in podium, because technically LVT, who's in 4th, if they win both of theirs, they would pass us. So, excuse me. Yeah, we'll try to win. But what I wanted to talk about with the AOH war is that we were losing this war, most of the war, and I don't have the screenshot to show you right now, but when we had 109 attacker kills, we had 11 deaths. We soloed our next 41 fights to win the war. So that was pretty clutch. That was pretty awesome that we managed to do that. But AOH is now 4-3. We need 1 win in our last 2 wars to secure Masters. NewN is now 6-1. I have 3 deaths total, 1 on my main, 1 on my alt. And I have a PSR of 103 out of 106 with 54 out of 55 on my main and 49 out of 51 on my alt. Because we died this war, the Deathless streak does reset, so it should be at 3. Yeah, 3. Because technically, even though I did my main fights after, we always count it as my alt account happening second, which doesn't really make sense, but that's the way I've done it, so I'm going to keep up doing that. My main account is at 34 Deathless streak, and my alt account is at 3. That's going to be all for today. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.